I want to read you a little story today that I found in a book called Stories for the Christian Spirit, Trusting in God's Plan. And this story is called Peace That Surpasses All Understanding. The introduction says, while suffering from a serious illness, Alan taught his wife a lesson. Even when we're by ourselves, we're not alone. I always professed to having faith in God and in His plan for my life. But in the fall of 1998, my strength of faith was tested as never before. My husband, Alan and I were extremely happy after 18 years of marriage, and we were enjoying the roller coaster ride that comes with having two teenagers. Our daughter Jennifer was a junior in high school, learning to drive, and dating her first boyfriend. Our son, Jason, was 15, active in sports, and growing up quickly. My husband was enjoying his work, and after 5 years, he was only one semester away from the completion of his dream. We had so much to be grateful for, and we thanked God often for His many blessings. In September 1998, Alan complained about some pain across his lower back. Within a few weeks, the pain had increased, spreading to his left side. He was examined by our family physician, who felt that it was probably nothing more than muscle strain. Months passed, and Alan began to feel extremely fatigued. Initially, we thought working full-time combined with night classes and other activities was catching up with him. Then, as the fatigue increased, an inexplicable weight loss began. Repeated visits to the family physician failed to result in conclusive diagnosis. That weight loss continued, and the fatigue began to restrict Alan's activities. In November, returning to the family doctor, we requested to see a specialist or have more extensive diagnostic tests done. The doctor ordered a CAT scan, but it couldn't be done until after the Thanksgiving weekend. We tried to enjoy the holiday dinner with our family, but by this time Alan was too weak to enjoy much of anything. Anxiety was mounting within me. The week after Thanksgiving, Alan had the CAT scan, and then we headed home. We hadn't been there long when the phone rang. It was our doctor. I felt an immediate sense of panic. Even before my husband hung up the phone, tears were streaming down my face. The doctor wanted to see us right away in his office. As we waited for his name to be called at the doctor's office, Alan kept assuring me that whatever it was, we could deal with it. Once we were seated in his private office, the doctor told us that the CAT scan had revealed a large tumor on Alan's left kidney. It turned out to be malignant. The cancer was at a very advanced stage, and we would need to see a surgeon immediately. So began the darkest period in my life. The prognosis wasn't good, and the risks involved in the surgery were high. I realized that everything I believed in now would be put to the test. Daily, I claimed every promise from God's Word that I had ever been taught, but I found little peace as I contemplated a future that might not include the one person most dear to me. Many sleepless nights I cried out to God and begged to feel His presence with me. One evening, just a few days before the surgery, I was helping my husband get into bed for the night. I covered him, prayed with him, and turned out the light. As I was leaving the room, I felt a heavy sadness at seeing him lying there alone in the dark. I called out to him, "Alan, are you scared to be left alone in here?" Alan's reply was simple but his words would carry me through many difficult days that were ahead. He answered, Colleen, I'm not alone in here. It was then that I knew all those promises were real. God's promise God promises us that He will provide a peace that surpasses all understanding. And Alan's words reassured me that this promise had indeed been kept. With 2 major surgeries behind us and months of chemotherapy, scans, and uncertainty in front of us, I too know something of this peace. Although rough times come and tears sometimes flow, I know that I'm not alone. God's faithfulness and provisions have repeatedly confirmed my faith in His promises. Philippians 4:7 is real in our lives as God continues to give us a peace that surpasses all understanding, which will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. Written by Colleen Armstrong. Philippians 4:6. Do not worry about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Sometimes it's harder than others, y'all. I'm sorry. This one touched my heart. And I hope it just gave you something to remind you that God's peace transcends everything, even when it surpasses all understanding. Be blessed, my friends.